Welcome to the Aging Well Firefighter, the podcast for first responders, our families, and the communities we serve. Whether you're on the front lines or standing with us, I'm here to help you fight wisely and age bravely. Zero flow equals zero result. That's something I heard in a firefighting class once, and it stuck with me. You can have the best tactics, the best gear, the best crew, but if your nozzle is closed, you're not putting out any fire. A dry line doesn't save lives. A dry line doesn't knock down flames. Zero flow equals zero result. And that principle doesn't just apply on the fireground. It applies, in my opinion, to fitness. It applies to life. Take this. I had a client in her 70s who loved to run. She told me once, "Roy, when I was younger, all I cared about was running. I wanted to go faster. I wanted to go longer. But I neglected everything else, flexibility, strength, balance. And now I'm paying for it." She worked really hard to get back to where she felt like she could function independently as an older adult, the way she wanted to. But that experience taught me something important as a coach and as a firefighter. Sometimes we have to do things that aren't our favorite. You might not like strength training. You might not like balance work. You might hate cardio, and I hear that one a lot. But our bodies aren't built for just one thing. They're built for a spectrum of fitness. So today, I want to talk about balance, but not just in fitness. I want to talk about balance in life. Because whether it's fire or fitness or your family, zero flow still equals zero result. Now, like I mentioned earlier with my client who only focused on running, the problem wasn't that she loved running. It was that she neglected everything else. And that's a trap that a lot of us fall into because we all have our favorite thing. Some of us love to lift heavy. Some of us love running. Some of us love yoga. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a favorite. But if that's all you do, you're leaving big gaps in your fitness. Because here's the truth. Fitness isn't a one-lane road. It's a spectrum. Strength, cardio, flexibility, balance, they're not competing with each other. It's not an either-or thing. They complement each other. And if you only train strength, you might be as powerful as a locomotive, but gas out on that stair climb. If you're only training cardio, you might run as fast as a gazelle, but struggle to carry bags of groceries or drag a hose line. If you ignore your flexibility and balance, you're setting yourself up for injuries and limitations down the road, just like that client of mine. And that's not just theory. That's not just me making this up or guessing. I've seen it over and over again with clients, with fellow first responders, and if I'm being honest, I've seen it in myself too. So, my first lesson is this. Don't get stuck in your comfort zone. Don't let your favorite thing become your only thing. Because fitness isn't about being the best at one domain. It's about being capable across the board. Now, maybe you're thinking, okay, Roy, I get it. I need balance. But what if I hate cardio? And again, I hear that a lot. What if I hate strength training? Well, that's where the next piece comes in, finding ways to enjoy things you think you dislike. And I talked about this once before in a podcast episode all about the power of trying again. A lot of people tell me I hate cardio, but do you really hate cardio? Or do you just hate running? Like I used to. Because cardio doesn't have to mean pounding pavement. There are lots of ways to get cardio in. Maybe you would enjoy rowing, or the summit climber, or maybe just throwing on a weight vest and going for a fast walk, which is what I did today. And the same thing with strength training. Do you really hate strength training, or do you hate the bodybuilding bro split style that you see in most fitness magazines? Have you tried isometrics? Have you tried calisthenics? Have you tried just simple circuits of, say, squats, push ups, and carries? And I'm going to tie this in with the article I just wrote because I demonstrated each of those exercises in that video series. My point is, there's always a way to enjoy the work if you find the right fit for you. But balance isn't just about your workouts, it's about your life. And I'm going to be really honest right here. I have struggled with that type of balance myself. I've had to wrestle at times with balance in my own life. When we adopted our first child, it threw my triathlon training into a tailspin, and I had to figure out what I was going to do. When I left my career in IT to start a career in fitness and found that I had to arrange my workouts around my clients' schedules, again, I had to work on balance. When we adopted again, and then when our adopted son's mental health struggles completely disrupted our family and turned it upside down, I had to struggle with finding balance. And then when I added firefighting and EMS into the mix, I had to work on refinding that balance. Each time that my life shifted and priorities changed, I had to struggle with finding balance. And I didn't always get it right. But what I did do is I learned. Balance in life isn't about having everything perfectly even, having all your ducks in a row. It's about adjusting and adapting and keeping the flow going where it matters the most. And just like in fitness, balance in life isn't about being the best at one thing. It's about being capable across the board. And for me personally, I think about it in 3 separate domains. There's your intellect. That's what we're learning and how we're growing mentally. We are creatures of emotion, how we care for ourselves and how we connect with others. And we are people of action, meaning what we actually do with our time and energy, how we invest those things. If one of those domains is way out of balance, the whole system suffers. You can be brilliant intellectually, but emotionally burned out. You can be emotionally strong, but never ever take action. And you can be all action with no reflection and no connection. And each of those is a recipe for burnout. So balance in life, just like balance in fitness, is about making sure that you're not neglecting the areas that matter the most. So, let me ask you, where are you out of balance right now? Maybe it's not your workouts. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's your family. Maybe, like some of us, it's your own mental health. The question is, are you flowing where it matters, or are you running dry? Are you so driven in your career that you're leaving your family behind? Do you pour everything into one passion, but totally neglect your health? Do you work so hard that you're too exhausted for your relationships or your spiritual life? And I'll be honest, I'm not just talking to you, listener. I'm talking to myself right now, too. Balance isn't about doing everything equally. It's about not letting one thing consume you at the expense of everything else. So, here's my challenge to you this week. Pick one area where you know you're running dry. Maybe it's your cardio. Maybe it's your flexibility. And maybe it isn't fitness at all. Maybe it's your marriage. Maybe it's your own mental or emotional health. Find that one area and open the line. Put some flow there, even if it's just a little. Don't wait until you're 70 years old and telling yourself or someone else, I wish I had done this sooner. Please start now. Here's good news. You don't have to overhaul your whole life in one day. You just have to start the flow. Small, consistent actions add up. That's true in fitness, and it's true in life, because at the end of the day, you don't need to be the strongest or the fastest or the most flexible. You just need to be balanced enough to show up. To show up for your crew, to show up for your family, and to show up for yourself. Now, if you want some practical ways to start, I've got you covered. This week, I just published a new article and a full set of short demo videos on 4 basics of fitness: balance, flexibility, strength, and cardio. And I've included simple drills you can do anywhere, whether it's at your firehouse, whether it's at your EMS station, in your living room, in your dorm room. I've got you covered. You can find that article and the full video playlists. I'll link them in the show notes. Check it out. Check out those videos and find some simple ways that you can start working on balance in your fitness domain. Because whether it's fire or fitness or family, the basics still put the fire out. I want to thank you for joining me again this week. I want to invite you to share your stories with me. Do you feel like you've had some struggles? Do you feel like this episode spoke to you? Reach out. I would love to hear your story. I would love to connect with you. And if you want to share your story or part of it, I would love to do that for you, or to have you on to talk about what you have to say. Until next time, fight wisely, age bravely,